All right, David, thank you. Following the Texas Education Agency's takeover of Houston ISD, a decision by the new leadership is costing a number of librarians their jobs by turning their workplaces into discipline centers. And ahead of the start of school next week for Houston ISD, parents, staff, and students are sounding off about the loss of the libraries at campuses across Houston ISD. It's the topic of New York Times reporter J. David Goodman's latest story. He joins us this afternoon. Thank you so much for being here.
Oh, thanks for having me.
Okay, we'll get to the libraries in a second. I want to start with a big picture. The new state-run administration said it hopes to create a, quote, new education system in the elementary and the middle schools that feed into those poor-performing high schools. What exactly does that new approach include?
Well, first off, there's a lot of administrative changes. They've laid off a lot of folks in the central office in Houston ISD. Part of that was to save money so that they could pay teachers more and institute what they call sort of performance pay for teachers. So what they're going to start doing in Houston in these schools that they've targeted is say, teachers who in the past have been paid based on seniority now will get paid based on improvements to their students' test scores in reading and math. And that's the thing of the sort of main part of this plan is a real focus on reading and math and a kind of influence that came from charter schools and really the charter network that the new superintendent, Mike Miles, founded. He's bringing that sort of approach, a real intensive focus on testing and on reading and math to these schools, to the detriment, some parents say, of some of the other programs that existed, such as these libraries.
So let's get to the libraries right now. Under this plan, in some schools, they would become, quote, team rooms. In your report, though, a district administrator said that perhaps that's a misnomer. What exactly will these libraries look like, and what led to those closures?
Right. So what they looked around and they needed some space, they said, for this concept that the superintendent has of trying to make the role of teachers more focused on teaching and outsource a lot of the other stuff that teachers have traditionally done, including discipline. And so one of the things they're going to do in these schools is actually send disruptive students out of the classroom and into these team centers where they will watch the rest of their lessons on computers. And the images that have been shown so far of what these centers are going to look like, and they're located in libraries for the most part in these schools, is that there'll be rows of desks and the students will sit at them and look at the lessons. Now, the HISD says that there'll be other students there too, some of whom are actually advanced in their work and are going there to complete certain tasks. But a main part of these rooms, as we understand it, is that this is where disruptive students will go as a form of discipline when they're sent out of their classes.
Okay, so you spoke to families, parents in your report. What did they have to say about this? What's their take on this?
Well, there are literally hundreds of parents and teachers and others in the community who went and protested outside of the main administrative building for HISD earlier this month, and they're upset at what they see as these sort of changes to their schools that they didn't ask for and that are being implemented without their input. So one of the things that happened in Houston is that the state, as part of its takeover, got rid of all of the elected school board. And so parents feel like they really have no way of kind of influencing what's going on apart from protest. And you've had a lot of parents showing up at community meetings where the superintendent has been speaking to air their concerns that this seems to be a very sort of top-down and very regimented approach to education, and they're very concerned. Now, it should be said that the superintendent has made some concessions. As recently as the last few days, he's actually gone back on a plan to reduce or to change how recess works. He's actually said now there's going to be recess in fifth grade when there wasn't going to be recess in fifth grade, and that really caused a lot of parents concern. So there is some evidence that they're listening to these concerns of parents, but still these parents feel like they don't have a real seat at the table to talk and to let them know, or let the school board know what they think.
J. David Goodman, thank you so much for your report in the New York Times.
Thank you.
A human like Revamps